We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Good afternoon. You're listening to WQKELP 93.9 FM, Plattsburgh, New York. This is Desmond and Liam with your 3 o'clock sports report. Today, we'll start as we always do with our matching attire. Today, we are going basketball jerseys. This is how we actually started, I believe. Yes.
I can actually check right now. Yep.
Yeah, our first show was with basketball jerseys. I was actually wearing this jersey. This is my Allen Iverson jersey. Desmond and I are trying to buy me a Calvin Johnson jersey.
Yeah, I tried looking on some totally legit
jersey sellers.
Jersey websites, but I don't know how, but I couldn't find one. So now I'm just looking through for something on Poshmark or Mercari, something.
Yeah, where it's a team effort.
Semi-legit.
So if anyone knows where I can get a Megatron jersey, go to our Twitter.
Yeah, it's at Sports Report PLT.
Exactly, that's where you want to be.
I had to make sure.
And for those who are listening, you should also go over to the D3. Actually, I can find the exact Twitter app for you. It is go to the D3 Hockey News Twitter app and scroll down a little bit till you find Plattsburgh versus Oswego in their bracket and vote for Plattsburgh because that is me. So we want to talk about.
I already voted.
I'm proud. Thank you, Desmond, and thank you everyone who has. Quickly going on, we can talk about Plattsburgh hockey quickly. Plattsburgh hockey Plattsburgh playoffs. I'm sorry, starts this weekend. Saturday we play Brockport at home.
That's going to be an insane game.
It's gonna be the Ice Arena will be alive for that one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always go to every hockey game, but that game will be insane because
you are gonna want to get there early and perch up right where you always do.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond perches up right near the opposing bench. Right so if you watch the broadcast, and you should because I'm the announcer, but if you watch the broadcast, you could just see Desmond chirping the entire time when the puck goes anywhere near the far boards.
Anytime, my favorite thing to do is anytime the other team gets hyped about something while they're losing, I like to just turn to them and then just point at the scoreboard and yell the word scoreboard repeatedly. I like to say things, but yeah, I mean it's this week in sports hasn't been bad. The All-Star game is definitely going to backpack most of the show, but
yeah. Well, I mean we can just run through it quickly. There's been hockey stuff going on, but hockey is just
hockey.
It's just very stagnant right now. It's kind of at a very stagnant point in the season. Yeah. I've had a lot of trouble. I've been following it, of course, but I've had a lot of trouble being in depth with it because the Islanders are terrible. But that's a story for another time. I'm convinced my own hockey team's tanking. By the way, they have because their coaching decisions no longer make any sense, and it's not like they have Thibodeau as a coach. They have the best coach in hockey. Yeah. So when the lineup decisions consistently don't make any sense, I'm convinced there's something else involved in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with all the stuff with Brian Flores saying the Dolphins paid him to lose, and Hugh Jackson saying the same thing. I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't know why. Hot take. I don't know why that's a big deal.
Because it's just against the
integrity of the game.
The integrity.
But no offense, if I knew my team wasn't going to make the playoffs, I would try to deliberately lose every single game.
I mean, yeah, maybe especially if you're what Philly was doing those. Before the whole
trust the process.
Yeah,
it kind of paid off. But keep going.
Yeah, I mean, if they have to win a ring soon, but I'd say hopefully it can pay off.
How old's Embiid?
26, 27, I have to believe.
So we still got time left.
Let's check if it can
What's
load.
It say?
It's got to load because
all right, we'll get back to that.
It's kind of poopy.
So I don't know, they still have a window, but yeah, if I was a team. And I knew I wasn't going to make the playoffs, or I was a borderline playoff team, I was the Eagles this year, I'd be I don't care anymore. We'll try to lose every game.
I mean, it really depends. If you're a team like the Eagles that won a Super Bowl recently, okay, you can say that because we have a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if you're a team like the Knicks were last year, you got to push for the playoffs.
Oh, that's different, though. You were a contender.
Well, I don't know if we were a contender.
I don't know. I know we don't like Julius Randle now, or Julius Randle's been great lately. But at that point, Randle was good enough to do some damage in the playoffs. And if it wasn't for Trae Young, they would have crushed the Hawks.
No, not with the way Julius is playing in the playoffs.
Well, going into the playoffs.
If he played in the playoffs like he did in the regular season, it's a different story.
That's what I'm saying.
But he wasn't even a quarter of what he was. Joel Embiid is 27, by the way.
And also, Trae Young absolutely demolished the Knicks in that series.
Yeah.
He single-handedly beat them.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, they went to the conference finals, obviously, so yeah, good on him for that. But
I really like Trae Young.
No, me too.
I really like Trae Young too because Trae Young is a lot better in the playoffs than he is in the regular season, and I respect that trait.
But there, are we ready to get into the All-Star
let's talk
game?
about the All-Star weekend. Very interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Had its highs and lows.
Yeah, definitely. But before we do that, it was announced yesterday that Chris Paul is likely going to miss the rest of the regular season due to a thumb injury.
6 to 8 weeks, fractured thumb.
And yeah, it's like 6 to 8, but the regular season ended in 7. So, yeah, not good. I mean, the Suns, I think they already locked in at least a play-in spot. Mm-hmm. They're in the playoffs. They'll be fine without him, hopefully, for the rest of the regular season. But come playoff time, they're definitely going to need him. But yeah, I mean, with that, I'm ready to jump right into the All-Star game. But we'll start off with the Celebrity All-Star game, which
Myles Garrett is Jesus.
Yeah, no, the way he played was not very surprising to me.
It was hilarious.
I thought he was going to be really good because I've seen the clips of him.
Okay, now that you've gotten me into Twitter during these events is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, Twitter, it can be very dumb and annoying, but like there are some of the funniest like memes and moments I have on my phone have come from that app.
My other thing is like everyone was calling for the end of the Celebrity All-Star game. I'm like, why? This is so entertaining. Like Myles Garrett just dunked on the mayor of Cleveland. Why do you guys wanted this to turn this off?
We had a real nasty block. I can't remember who he blocked it because I didn't watch the full game. I was watching clips, I guess, it was going on. But, I mean, the one clip I saw that really made me laugh was Jack Harlow pull up from, like, real deep, and he just had, like, the ugliest jump shot ever, and it went in. I respect Jack Harlow, but my goodness.
Just watch the mayor of Cleveland. That was the best part of the All-Star game for me, because it's just, like, Myles Garrett and then the mayor of Cleveland. Like, the guy is just, like, I don't think he's very big.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to look it up.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a terrible game. I was trying to look up the stats for it, but I couldn't really find much. But at the same time, I don't even want to imagine another clip I saw that made me laugh was MGK missing like a really wide open layup. But as we're going to get into, clearly some NBA players can't hit layups either. But I mean, it wasn't bad. I wish they'd get more like basketball celebrities, like the time I mentioned in the last show, like J. Cole, even though he just might not want to do it, like guys like that, guys who talk about basketball, guys who have played basketball, stuff like that, as opposed to Machine Gun Kelly, who is,
nobody wanted to watch him. I just wish they could get more football players to do it, honestly, or other athletes. Like, I wish there was more of an incentive because, like, imagine you had Myles Garrett and like Micah Parsons. It would have been hilarious.
Really good. But I will say that if it's going to be more people from like that area, it's going to get rough the next couple of years because I'm pretty sure the next 2 games are in Indiana and Utah, which I don't know who will ever want to go to Indiana or Utah to watch an All-Star game.
How did the Pacers get the All-Star game? They have the lamest stadium.
It's basically they're going through an area of like, all right, let's just get these places out of the way so that way they don't complain when we don't give them an All-Star game.
Why can I not find Justin Bibbs' height?
I'm not surprised. It's probably not something they really have listed. But
it's nowhere. Why can I not find this right now? All right, keep going. Sorry.
But no, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it's nice to have like these small market areas get All-Star games like Indiana, but man, that place might not. I don't know. I don't know who'd want to go to Indiana of all places to go watch the All-Star game. But that's all I have on that part of the weekend.
There were other parts of the weekend that were pretty entertaining, and parts of the weekend that were really not entertaining.
Yeah, I was not able to watch the Rising Stars games. I saw clips. I was watching highlights. I was keeping in, and probably what I thought was the funniest moment of the night. Did you see the clip of Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey?
Oh no!
They were doing some kind of like challenge. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but Scotty Barnes literally missed like 6 wide open layups in a row. He was like putting it up like straight up with like one hand, and he literally missed like 6 in a row. Brick to 3, then Tyrese Maxey went in, brick to layup, brick to 3. I was just in shock watching it happen.
Were they trying to like?
No. It was like a challenge. Like I can't remember what it was, but I like the new format a lot. I like the new like separate them off into teams, run like a tournament. It's just something cool to do. And I believe it was Team Rick Barry who ended up winning with Cade getting MVP. Not the most surprising thing ever, but yeah, I sadly was not able to keep up with this much. The biggest reason I didn't is because for some reason, none of the Knicks guys got it. No Quentin Grimes, no Quickly as bad as Quickly has been recently, no Obi, because apparently Precious Achiuwa gets in, and that guy is, from what I hear and from what I see, is very bad at basketball. But I don't know. It's whatever. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's cool to watch, but unless there's, like, a Zion in it or a Ja in it, kind of hard to watch. But obviously Evan Mobley is someone to watch, as we're going to get into with the events from Saturday, I believe? Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, Team Rick Barry won, Cade Cunningham won MVP. Scotty Barnes, I guess, forgot how to play basketball. And
of course.
That's basically the rundown from the Rising Stars event. And with that, I'm ready to move into the All-Star events.
I think the skills challenge, or the whole Saturday's festivities, was the most disappointing part of the weekend.
I cannot believe what I watched. Forget all the challenges. When they brought Steph and Aisha Curry and played, do you see the like dating game they played?
Oh no!
So they made them go up and get blindfolded and have 2 glasses of Gatorade, one blue, one red, and it was like, like one glass represented Aisha, one was Curry, and it was like, sip from the cup of whoever like has the craziest friends. Like, between, I think it was the skills and the 3-point competition, like, no one wants to watch this. Like, the crowd was silent the whole time, and like I'm sitting there, like I was showing my buddies, we had the projector on, and we're like, wait, what is this? Like, why is this on television?
Who decided and who picked? Like, it's in Cleveland. Who picked Steph Curry? They don't like Steph Curry.
No, I mean, it's funny because he's from Cleveland, but they hate him there. Because he kept getting booed. I can see why, obviously.
Yeah, he destroyed them a couple of years in a row.
But, I mean, yeah. And then the whole DJ Khaled concert.
Oh, my.
That was, I couldn't watch it. I walked away. It
Did
was
you
so
see
bad.
DJ Khaled dribbling around the...
Yes. And then, like, he airballed a wide open shot. He's like, don't ever tell yourself you can't do something. Don't ever doubt yourself. And then hit one. It's just, I can't stand the guy. But the what might be the funniest part about that was before the concert. He's like, they said that they didn't want me to do a concert in the All-Star game. Like, who said that?
Yeah.
Like, who
said that?
Who walked up to you and said, "Hey, I don't want you to do a concert at the All-Star game in Cleveland"? Like, okay.
What was DJ? Out of all the people they could have picked, why'd they pick DJ Khaled?
I don't know. Maybe he's from Cleveland, but that might have been the worst concert I've ever seen, because it was either they were like swearing and trying to blurt it out as it happened on television, but like it kept fading. The audio kept like fading in and out for me, so it was just terrible. Yeah, I just was in shock as the whole thing went down. But with that, we'll get into the actual events that took place. We'll start off with, obviously, the skills challenge. Mm-hmm. And they had a new format that I liked and disliked. I thought it was very cool, the shooting part, the passing drill. The relay was very confusing, as a lot of people, like the players, were very confused as it was going on. But I really like the passing challenge, though, because it's kind of like what they have in the Pro Bowl, where like you have to throw it to a certain one.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I didn't like about it is that it was only 3. What they should do is like throw them further down the court, and you get more points. Like, put one like under the opposite basket. Someone makes a pass there, 20 points. You know,
yeah.
Make it so it's interesting. Like, make someone like Jokic want to participate. Kevin Love, who is very good at throwing full court passes.
They need to start incentivizing the events. I know it's like they need to start. We know the NBA makes billions of dollars every year. What's the shame in putting like a 100,000 prize? It's nothing for them.
But I will say.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you didn't interrupt. But the funniest thing to me was, it's not funny because it's very cool, but when Evan Mobley came out and he literally hit like 5 threes in a row. He hit like I think it's like a 37-footer, hit that, then hit like like 3 from the corner. He like 5 threes in a row, and I couldn't believe it because like he's a solid 3-point shooter for a big man, but like I didn't see that coming. But I will say, if they want to make this better, you cannot have Thanasis Antetokounmpo and Alex Antetokounmpo shooting threes for a challenge. That was so painful to watch. The funniest part was because it was like, I can't remember the middle announcer, but I know it was Dwayne Wade and Reggie Miller, and they were the Antetokounmpo brothers were down, and Thanasis was the last to go, and I think it was Reggie. He was like, "Oh, he can do this. He can shoot." And Dwayne Wade turns to him. And he's like, "Dude, what Antetokounmpo brother have you been watching?" And it's funny because I think he literally hit one shot the entire challenge, which isn't surprising because Thanasis is a very solid NBA player, but he's definitely the last thing from a shooter. Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna do this challenge, you can't have a team of all big men. Because it's just like, yeah, it's like cool to see like Giannis and Alex both start off hitting 37-foot threes, but like they barely hit anything at. Well, Giannis hit a good amount of threes, but like Alex didn't hit anything after. Jared Allen didn't really hit a crazy amount of shots. It's just it's cool to see these big men shoot threes, but like after watching it for like a minute, you're like, oh, this is kind of like I don't really want to watch these guys just brick shots every time. But hopefully they'll get more people to want to do it with the new format. But, with that, we'll move on to the 3-point competition.
You want to talk about a big man who could shoot threes?
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it. I thought it was very good outside of the fact that some players were pretty disappointing, like Levine, Fred VanVleet, Trae Young kind of, because I thought he could have done way better than what he did. He did solid, but I thought he could have done way better. But, it was very nice to see Cat win because I'm a huge Karl-Anthony Towns fan, and it kind of
good at shooting.
Yeah, I'd say. I think it's really kind of. I mean, obviously, like the 3-point competition doesn't always mean anything, but like he's got to be like the best, if not second best, shooting big man. If we're talking purely the center position, he's the best shooting center of all time. I don't think there's many doubts behind that. But in terms of big men, then you have someone like Dirk who might take the role because he's probably. I'm sure if I were to look, he's statistically a better mid-range shooter, which would factor into shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like I couldn't judge how good of a shooter someone is based on the 3-point contest, as weird as that sounds.
But still, just the fact that he was the first center. Obviously, big men have won it. Dirk won one, I believe. My dad told me that K-Love won one because I was talking to him about it, and I said I think Cat would be the first one to win. He said K-Love won one. But if he keeps this up, he will probably be the best 3-point shooting big of all time, if he's not already, because he's an absolutely ridiculous shooter, as we saw when he broke the record for most shots made most points made in a final round, which obviously the new rules do help that because of the Mountain Dew balls and stuff like that. But very nice to see a big man win. I was also very surprised that Trae Young didn't do, like I said, Trae Young didn't do as well. Patty Mills, I thought Patty Mills was going to win it, in all honesty.
I thought Trae was going to win it.
I thought my two guys I thought were going to win it coming in was Luke Kennard, Patty Mills, because they're both very good standing, like, catch-and-shoot guys. Obviously, it's a bit different than a catch-and-shoot, but I don't know. Those were my two guys that I thought were going to win it heading in. I obviously was rooting for Cat. I thought there was a good chance he would win it, but that was very good. That was probably the only like purely set in stone good event. Like everyone thought it was good.
Yeah, there was no complaints there.
Yeah,
I think Curry's just stopped doing it after last year.
Yeah, I mean he win it like not every time, but 9 times out of 10 he's gonna win it.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's to the point where
we'll talk about him when it comes to the All-Star game because oh my goodness gracious! All right, let's keep going on. I don't think either of us want to talk about this.
The dunk contest.
So before we start, I think it's hilarious that back in like the 90s and early 2000s, all the people who are really like all like the quote unquote stars of the league would do the dunk contest and nobody would do the 3-point contest. Now it's completely reversed.
Yeah, you have guys like Jeff Hornacek in the 3-point contest. But I will shout out Jeff Hornacek, very good NBA player. But
yeah, like now all the good players or quote unquote good players are in the 3-point contest. Nobody has a dunk contest.
It's because it's more. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever gotten hurt in the dunk contest, but it's just the risk. Like, I've had arguments with friends. They're like, oh, why hasn't LeBron done the dunk contest? Because why would LeBron do the dunk contest? Why would any big name do the dunk contest? Really? Like, outside of, like, Dwight Howard, there really hasn't been many superstars that have done it in a long time since, like, Vince. Because it's to the point where it's like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the quote-unquote risk of injury. Because, yeah, it hasn't happened, but you never know. Like Cole Anthony dunking in Tim's, there's a very good chance he could have gotten hurt, which I could not believe he actually pulled that off.
That was a pretty good dunk right there.
Yeah.
It's just when it takes 100 tries.
Yes, they need to change the rule on
Once you clear the ground, it's an attempt.
Once you are off the ground, it is an attempt, unless you like run up and do a little hop and you like misjudge. If you jump up and you put your arms up to go to the rim, it is an attempt. If you touch the rim, it is an attempt. You cannot jump up and because you lost the ball in midair or something, or the ball didn't make contact with the rim. That's like
they're gonna change it.
Jalen Green making 9 attempts and taking 10 minutes to do a lame dunk.
They're gonna change it. I think they're gonna change a lot of the rules after this season.
I hope.
They are under big fire for that right now.
Yeah, and like I was talking to people because they were talking like the guys I was showing them they aren't like the biggest into basketball, and I was telling them like some of the best dunkers of all time weren't superstars. Nate Robinson, great player, not a superstar. Gerald Green, great player, solid player, not a superstar. Like these guys, they need more guys like that. Like Derrick Jones. I think Derrick Jones might be hurt, so that's probably why I didn't do it. Like they just need more guys with big verticals. Like I think like Jalen Lacroix. I don't know if he's in the NBA anymore, but that dude had like a 48-inch vertical coming out of college. Mm-hmm. Like he could do something like that if you wanted to.
It's just an incentive thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody wanted to see John Morant do it. Yeah. Everybody did, and he wouldn't do it. Like they just need to incentivize it somehow. Like, oh, if John Morant did that, watch out. Whoa. Yeah. Or like Levine did it again, but Levine's not going to do it again.
No, and that's what I'm going to get into. The judges ruined the event.
Yeah.
They ruined it last year when Aaron Gordon lost.
Aaron Gordon cleared Taco Fall and didn't even get a perfect score.
Yeah, but Derrick Jones did like the same dunk he already did earlier in the day and got like... It just, you can't...
And this is why... No, sorry, not to interrupt you, but this is why less people are doing it. Because Aaron Gordon went and blasted them last year. It's rightfully so, because he completely cleared Taco Fall.
If you clear a 7'7" man and you don't get a 50...
Yeah. I don't care what the dunk looks like. If you clear that guy...
While being like 6'8", 6'9", like yourself.
Did you go back every year they have the dunk contest? Like, just go back and watch Levine and Gordon's. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good one. But it's just they just need one staple to do it. Like Nate Robinson, who won it 3 times.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross, who's won it before. They
don't even need like Ja.
No,
like,
they don't. You don't need a superstar.
Even if Levine did it again, Levine would win. Like someone like that.
I think Obi Toppin will probably be the next like guy to do it every year. I think you got Obi if they can get Derrick Jones back in it. Like Anthony Simons did pretty good last time. They just need a staple. They need another like Nate Robinson guy who's in it almost every year, wins it 3 times. You know, but it's the thing is you're not going to find that because I hate saying stuff like this, but like it's a shooting era. Everyone wants to shoot. Not a lot of people really care about doing crazy dunks.
And that's why that transition happened.
Yeah, but
imagine if Giannis did it.
I mean, even then, like what can he really do? He's 7 feet tall.
He's got a good bounce though.
Yeah, but I mean...
I want to see Aaron Gordon do it again. That's all I want.
That would be nice. It would be nice if, like, in the future they got together. They're like, yeah, let's do it one more time, you know?
Aaron Gordon still hit the craziest dunk of all time in the dunk contest by going under his legs, over the mascot, and into the rim. Yeah. That's my favorite dunk contest.
The things him and Levine can do are just ridiculous. But, like I was going to say before, like, the judges ruin it, man. Like, they were more lenient than they usually were.
Yeah.
But, like, there were some dunks in there that should have been, like, a 7 or a 6.
Jalen Green should have been really low.
Yeah. It's just, I understand. That's the thing is because I've always advocated for, dunk contest champions winning it. Or, like, legends that are really good at dunking doing the judging. But... at the same time, they have too much respect for the athlete to give them a low grade to the point where you can't sit there and watch Jalen Green take 9 attempts to do something pretty lame and then be like, 6.
Yeah.
But it's just...
I would have given that like a 3.
It would be cool if they... I mean, obviously it wouldn't really work because not a lot of the, more casual fans would care. But, like, if they got, like, some of the smaller guys who have won it, like Desmond Mason, Nate Robinson, like Gerald Green...
put Aaron Gordon on there.
Yeah.
What's Aaron
that would
Gordon
be
doing
interesting.
nowadays? Just playing in, where's he? Denver?
Denver. He's been pretty solid. He's been a very solid.
He's got an
role player.
afro now.
I think he has it down to like braids.
Oh, he does.
I think so. It's either he has an afro and it's to the braids, or he had braids and it's to an afro.
By the way,
I can't remember.
This is so irrelevant. I don't care what anyone says. DeMar DeRozan is the coolest looking NBA player in my opinion. He is like the tattoos, the braids. Like he is cool.
Yeah, I mean he could be Chris Middleton and look like a piranha. But
I love DeMar DeRozan.
No, I love that guy too. But yeah, I mean, shout out Obi Toppin. Obviously, I'm a Knicks fan. It was very nice to see him when I was.
But even like his dunks were no offense, but his dunks were kind of mid.
It's hard for a 6'9" guy. That's what I was saying with Giannis. It's hard for guys like that to, because they can obviously get up, but it's hard for them to maneuver and like because they're already relatively high off the ground to begin with. But it was not a good show. I mean, it's pretty funny, like the video of Shaq when Vince Carter did the dunk. He has like the camera, he's like all excited, going crazy, and then the picture of him at this dunk contest where he's ready to leave, like Kareem left early. Like I wouldn't want to watch that. I didn't want to watch it, but yeah. With that, we'll move on to the All-Star game itself. With I think it was Team LeBron won off a
great
nasty LeBron game winner.
Don't care what anyone says. Bash the format all you want. It's great. That was a great game. That was a great game. If you complain about them not trying, you have not watched enough All-Star games. They don't try. You're lucky that it even got that close at the end.
Yeah.
They're notorious for not trying.
They put I like the format because they put more effort towards the end at least.
Exactly. At least the last quarter is interesting.
Yeah.
I saw all my friends were complaining. I'm like, you guys are wrong because this is a great game. And Steph Curry's pulling up from half court 4 times in a row.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert doing a 360 dunk.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that dude could.
John Morant picked up a lob and did a 180 in midair.
Like that was ridiculous. It's the moments where they don't care that you get stuff like Curry like throwing that nasty lob up to Giannis a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Curry dunking. Like I like seeing that stuff. Or like you have funny moments like Curry got dunked on by Giannis like 2 times and like dropped to the ground and was like sitting on his stomach
No, but you can't tell me like you watch like again DeMar DeRozan. Like DeMar DeRozan's like literally laughing on the court. Like that's what in my mind that's when it matters.
They're not. I don't know if a lot of the contracts have like incentives, like you make the All-Star game, you get paid extra money, but like in reality, like I'm sure someone like Ja who's on his rookie contract isn't getting something like that, LaMelo, but
I guess this is just my problem with people who complain. Like, do you think it's realistic that you're going to put all those players together for a game that does not matter to their record or anything, and they're going to try? No. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Like, I guess maybe it's a lot to ask, or it shouldn't be that hard to ask of the athletes, but they're not going to try.
No, why would they want to? Why would they put risk? Why would they risk getting hurt for a meaningless game?
And then Curry.
Yeah, we'll get into Curry, but I want to talk about the NBA 75 get-together. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Especially, like, seeing, like LeBron,
it took forever,
LeBron and Jordan getting together, like laughing before the game and
MJ
stuff like that. That
MJ
legitimately
and Magic
made me smile. MJ and Magic, like I've never seen Jordan like smile like that. He was like running on the court, like hugging Luka and stuff. The funniest thing is like obviously Jordan has gambling issues. Someone said that Jordan probably hit all of his parlays before the game. That's why he was excited. But no, it was very cool to see all those guys together. Very glad to not see some people like Karl Malone. Very glad to not see him there. There were many jokes made about that. But, yeah, it was nice to see them all get together. The guys that are still around, obviously. But
they all looked like they had a good time. So
yeah, absolutely. Like Dennis Rodman showing up in it, like Kawhi Leonard and Dennis Rodman showing up with like a hoodie under the suit. Like that's just so funny.
Kawhi shows up, puts his hand up, and then just walks away. Yeah. Like we never even saw him again.
Did you see the face that KG made when he saw Ray Allen?
Oh no,
he literally made the face like, oh my god, not this guy. Like I guess they still hate each other. They said. I read something that said that they made up, but I guess not. I mean, I don't blame them for not liking Ray Allen. I mean, obviously they played together, but the way he left them for Miami, who was their biggest competitor, I'd be pretty mad too. But
they still got chips.
Yeah, well, one chip.
They still got a chip. Sorry,
the one chip that Boston likes to hold over everyone. Like it really like it's cool. Like yeah, you got a ring. You got a ring more recently than a lot of NBA players, but it's not like you guys like. Were a dominant super team that was running the league. But with that, we'll move into the game itself with Stephen Curry hitting 16 threes.
And a lot of those were felt like 4-point shots, how far back he was taking.
I think the funniest thing about that is he took 30 shots and 27 of them were threes. Like, the audacity to pull 27 threes.
And they didn't even seem mad. They were feeding him.
No, yeah, they don't care. I mean, if you're going to hit 16 threes, go ahead. But, I mean, that just shows, like, obviously there's still, like, a lack of effort, which led to that. But like, Curry's going to break the three-point record. If Steve Kerr lets him, because there's been many moments where he's been close, but Kerr benches him because it's Steve Kerr. But ended up with 50, won the All-Star Game MVP, got the new trophy that we talked about before.
It's so cool.
Embiid had himself a nice 36 bomb. Carried Team Durant. I mean, I was very surprised the game was close. Very, very surprised.
Embiid did wonders.
Yeah, we said on the last episode that the teams were not close at all. We did not think it was going to be a close game.
It was a great game.
I don't know why, but, like, Jokic barely, I don't want to say barely played, but, like, Jared Allen got more minutes than him. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because obviously Embiid ends up with 36. Something's going on defensively. But,
It's unfortunate to shout out, I guess, condolences to Kevin Durant's family because his grandmother passed away right before the game and he had to leave.
Yeah, that was definitely rough. But with that, Giannis had 30, 12, and 6. He definitely helped out Team LeBron. LeBron didn't do anything crazy. He's kind of inefficient. He shot like I don't feel like looking it up right now, but that game winner he hit, the moment he turned and pulled it, I knew it was going in.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that.
It was a weird shot too. It went really high.
Yeah, it's just that the LeBron fader. But he's actually, he's 5-0 in the new All-Star game format, which obviously with how smart he is in basketball, it doesn't really matter who is available. He's going to draft the team that best works with him, like a team of LeBron, Curry, Jokic, DeRozan, and who am I missing? I'm missing someone, I think. LeBron, Curry, Jokic, DeRozan. Who am I missing?
Who's the fifth?
Why am I blanking like this right now?
Oh.
This is terrible. Oh my goodness.
I
apologize.
One sec, let me find it.
Come on. Load.
It's DeRozan. It's Giannis. It's the last one you forgot.
Did I say Giannis?
Yeah, it's Curry, DeRozan, LeBron, Giannis,
Oh,
Jokic.
right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's just a ridiculous team. Spacing everywhere outside of Giannis and DeRozan. Even then, DeRozan isn't having a necessarily terrible year from 3.
Levine had a good game, too, I believe.
Yeah. No, it was a very good game to watch.
The new format's awesome.
I love it. I love the draft. But with that is all I have for the All-Star game.
All right. Let's break down the ESPN thing.
The top 75 ranking?
Yeah, so ESPN ranked the top 75 players. And let's put it this way, it's interesting. I think there's an argument for how it could be correct, but we'll just run through maybe the top 20, top 30.
Well, all I'm looking at right now as I'm scrolling down is seeing, as much as I love Melo, I'm seeing him higher than Anthony Davis, so this is going to be interesting.
I don't know. I think it's an argument for that.
There is an argument, but
LaMelo was the face of New York for years.
The way you look at it, though, is its peak over longevity. Obviously, Melo was better than AD for a longer time because he's played longer than AD. But AD at his peak was without a doubt better than Melo because he was very close.
You showed me those Melo stats the other day. He was dropping like 40 a game for like.
Yeah, but still, like you have AD who, like the year before he went to the Lakers, dropped like 28 while being arguably the best defensive player in the year. Melo was dropping 28. Melo was dropping 30. But what else was he doing? Yeah, he didn't have teammates that really allowed him to do anything else.
I don't know. I don't think Anthony. I think hot take here. Like I don't think Anthony Davis has been absolutely stellar. I think he was great that 1 year.
No, he's been great his career. It's just the injuries have really derailed.
Yeah, he's been great. He was great that first year he was in LA. But even in like New Orleans and after that, he's been kind of I don't know.
With that, we'll move on to. Are we going to start from the top?
Yeah, okay. One Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
LeBron. I think LeBron's going to overtake him by the time he retires.
Yeah, I always say it like this: if you're talking about the skill of basketball, the playing the game of basketball, it is LeBron because there is no player that will be able to do everything on the floor like he does. One of, if not the greatest scorers of all time, one of, if not the greatest passers of all time, tremendous rebounder. Great, one of the best defenders I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes at his peak, and is still a solid defender to this day. But if you want to look at the style of basketball, the name of basketball, the brand, all that, the guy that really revolutionized it all, it's Jordan. You know, like there's never been a player outside of Bill Russell that's had the success in the short amount of time.
It's the same argument that we were just having about longevity versus peak.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you need. I don't know. The GOAT debate has just gotten so overwhelmingly annoying to the point where, like, if you say Jordan, I don't care. If you say LeBron, I don't care.
I think it can go completely either way at this point.
Exactly.
They're both amazing.
1 and 2. Both 1 and 2. There's no doubt about that.
3, Kareem.
Yeah. If there's anything that will ever be set in stone, it's that 1, 2, and 3 will be Kareem, Jordan, and LeBron.
Yeah.
Unless, I can't even think of a situation. The only situation is if Giannis wins like 7 rings. And,
exactly.
And stuff like that.
4, Magic.
I have my own takes on Magic. I think he's become very underrated by NBA Twitter because I've seen guys not even have him in like the top 12 at times.
Because it's I'm not to interrupt you, but it's become, since it's a shooting era, points are such the most important stat now, and not like Magic was notorious for being the best playmaker, one of the best playmakers ever. His assists per game are 11.2 career. That's a great stat.
It's just a thing that
Sorry to interrupt.
Really, no, you're good. I don't know. I don't necessarily think he's 4. I used to have him at 4. That was a long time ago. But the more I look into it, I have some guys higher than him. But he's without a doubt, he's top 10. I don't know about 4. But again, the way I think about basketball has just completely shifted. The way I look at it, if you have an opinion, good for you. But obviously there are some that are very blasphemous that I've seen, obviously, on NBA Twitter. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not where I'd put him. But, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that at this point.
And 5, Will. See, like, I'd put Will above Magic.
I wouldn't put Wilt at 4, but I would consider putting Wilt over Magic.
Who would you have at 4 then? Bill Russell?
Tim Duncan or Bill Russell, probably in my opinion. I am very high on Tim Duncan. Very high.
I think Tim Duncan's, it's like I said this about a Future album the other day. I think Tim Duncan's going to age really well.
Yeah,
like his career.
Has. Not a lot of people realize how good he was after he retired, but now as time goes on, there are more people.
No, and I don't think even when he was playing, people realize how good he was. No. And like I think I agree. I don't know about top 5, but I think he will be definitely top.
Yeah,
he will in like 10 years from now, he'll definitely be recognized as top 10.
Wilt's career stats are just so ridiculous to look at. But I mean,
6, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
That's fine. Bill Russell's got to be somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean the highest I've ever seen him is 4, and I wouldn't mind if he's at 4.
No, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's blasphemous.
No,
it's an argument. Like,
the only way of Bill Russell ranking being blasphemous is if he's not in the top 10. If he's anywhere in the top 10, okay, go ahead.
He should be in the top.
If he's outside, then no.
Yeah,
that gets a little.
And I love, and I like that's what I said about this ESPN list. Like it's under. There's no like there's nothing on this list that we've gotten to yet that's like.
Yeah, not yet. I'm sure as we go down.
Like we said, we'll try to get through 30. We'll try to get through 30 of them here. Number 7, Bird.
I love Larry Bird. I actually got a giant like Funko Pop of him because I'm trying to collect more of those. But I don't, because there's a lot of, for some reason, people have been debating on Twitter recently if Bird or Magic are top 10. And I will say, I do truly believe that. I believe that Magic is probably better than Bird. But, I mean, let me just see, like, I think I'm just looking down quick, I'd put Tim Duncan over him. Wow, that player is really high. We'll move on to that after.
Whoa!
Yeah, but, anyways, yeah, I mean, it's not the most blasphemous thing. It's definitely not where I'd have him. Again, you can make an argument. The lowest I'd put Bird is, like, barely outside the top 10.
All right, we're going to keep going here. There's running out of time. Yeah. But quickly, I want to put in my 2 cents here. Like, with Michael Jordan gets put so high because he changed basketball. And, like, I think Bird and Magic don't get enough credit for what they did to basketball, too, because they absolutely saved the NBA.
No, they did. Those two, the rivalry they had.
They saved the NBA. Yeah. So, like, in my mind, they're both top 10. I think they're both fantastic. I think Bird has a lot to do with the shooting dominant era that we are currently in.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, if he took more attempts from 3 in his time, his stats would be even more ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just because a 3-pointer wasn't like as revolutionized as it is now. All right, we'll keep going. 8, Tim Duncan. That's fine.
Again, I'd say I'd have him higher, but
that's fine.
That's fine.
Number 9, this is the one that you were, like, oohing about, right?
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson. I don't know enough about the Big O to be like, oh, this is blasphemous. Once again, I do think there's an argument for it, but I'm not going to say
Again,
it.
it's when you look at the players that are...
When I look at the 2 players behind him, this is where I get a little confused.
Yes, when you have...
Go for it.
When you have him above Hakeem, Shaq,
Kobe,
that's where you kind of lose me a bit. I love Big O. I believe he's become very underrated in these days, but that is definitely very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, so not 10 Kobe.
Yeah.
I think Kobe, no, this is, I think Kobe, since Kobe is such a well-remembered player and so iconic, he gets jumped up a couple spots.
Yeah.
And I think Kobe was fantastic. Kobe was great, but Kobe wouldn't have won as many chips as he did without Shaq.
Yeah, but Shaq wouldn't have won as many chips as he did without Kobe.
Yeah, I agree.
make that argument with everyone. But,
I hate when people are like, oh, Jordan had Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, like, okay.
Well, LeBron had...
And, you can make the argument with every ring that has ever been won in the history.
No,
of
I'm
the
just
sport.
saying that they both definitely needed each other. There was no, like... It's a long story, but yeah. Kobe's still fantastic. He's still top 10 in my mind.
Yeah, I say 10 through 7 is where usually about where I put Kobe.
Yeah, and I put Shaq top 10 too.
Yes.
I put
Shaq not being in the top 10 is
a little weird.
Is blasphemous. That is pretty insane that he's outside of the top.
And like in my mind, Shaq has a little bit of that longevity. He played for what? Almost 20
Yeah, he wasn't always at his peak in those years, but
for 15 years he played.
He was literally the most dominant player the sport has ever seen.
Yeah.
In his prime, but
once again, they had to change the rules so they could guard Shaq.
Yeah.
And Shaq's really funny, but that has nothing to do with his ranking.
That's very interesting.
12, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a bit of a weird case. I don't like grading players who are currently playing, besides LeBron.
If he keeps this up, if he wins like one more ring,
then yes.
Maybe an MVP. Yeah, I think he could be top 10 by the time of his career. But when you have got some of the guys who are below him, like who's up next,
Hakeem.
Yeah, it gets a little interesting because again, as we're gonna say, number 13 is Hakeem Olajuwon. I really just do not know about that. Because, again, I think Hakeem is also top 10. But then you factor in... I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't get really the mindset. I believe Kevin Durant will be top 10. I believe you could make the argument that he belongs at 12. But where you lose me is when you put him over Hakeem. I truly don't believe that he's there yet. Again, he has a good amount of years left in his career. By the time it ends, depending on how it goes, he could pass Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, or Hakeem. But for now, no. But,
did you see this random? Because I'm looking at Dr. J right now, who, by the way, is at 14. No. Did you see that picture of? It's not loading. The picture, like it was like a Philadelphia picture. Someone took a picture. It was Embiid in the front. Behind him was AI. Dr. J.
I did see that.
That was so cool. Dr. J at 14. Like, this is where it gets a little funny for me, between, like, 10 and 20. But we'll keep going. Number 15, Moses Malone.
I mean, I probably should have done more prep for the show, but I'm running on, like, 4 hours of sleep, so I decided to take a nap. But I feel like this isn't as blasphemous as I'm thinking it is, but... Again, I gotta look at some of the other players.
Let's just keep going. 16, Curry.
You can make the argument they should be higher.
That's what I'm saying. You can make an argument.
You can make the argument.
I guess I don't know.
You can make the argument he's higher than Durant right now.
Man, I wish we had someone else here. Just saying.
No,
I wish we had a third opinion here.
I should have brought my roommate Chris on
for this one, but man, I don't know Moses Malone's career well enough, but I'd put Curry above him every day.
Yeah, probably.
And you have to include impact. Who had more of an impact, Moses Malone or Steph Curry?
It has to
be Steph Curry.
I know a decent bit about Moses Malone, but I'd have to think more because I
whatever. Impact aside, they're going off numbers here, I guess.
Yeah.
Or whatever. 17, Dirk.
The only reason I don't like this is because there's another power forward I'm thinking of that he's higher than that I don't really fully agree with. But
is it number 18?
No, but it's number 21 somehow.
I don't know if I like or how I feel. This is where LeBron's different because LeBron's been in the league forever. But putting KD and Giannis in here,
Giannis is already. You can argue.
No, I agree, but
he's
it's
without
still,
a doubt top 30. But you can argue.
it just becomes a little weird because
you can argue he's up here. But when you look at some, again, like I said, some of the guys
I
that
know
are
who
below
you're
him.
thinking
Yeah, I see it on your screen right now.
Yeah, I know who you're thinking of.
I don't. I mean, give Giannis time. Give Giannis time before you put him over Dirk.
Giannis has only been peaked in his career for like 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's been like 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. Like you said, give him time before we start,
But
putting him.
I'm more angry about who we're going to get onto in a couple
All right,
spots.
let's keep going. 19, Jerry West. 20, Elgin
Yeah.
Baylor. That's
Yeah.
fine. Those players need to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're iconic, whatever. Number 21, you're the one you're all mad about.
Kevin Garnett, because I guess, okay. I will say Kevin Garnett has become, I don't like to say it, but he is, because I do not like the terms overrated. I do not like the term overrated because in the long run, a player is only overrated depending on your opinion. If you look at someone, especially someone who's not that into basketball, and you take their opinion on a player and you take it very seriously to the point where you consider that player overrated, then that is just stupid. You need people. I just don't like it. I do not like the term overrated because it's just, you need to focus on either people who are more like truly into basketball, like analysts, or your own opinion as opposed to some guy who's trolling on Twitter calling someone top 5 or something like that. But I will say that in a way, because I've seen a lot of people say it, Kevin Garnett has become slightly, very ever so slightly overrated. You could argue he's top 15. If you put him in the top 10, I don't know if I'd necessarily agree, but it depends on your top 10. But to put him at 21, to put him behind Dirk, to put him behind peak for peak, you could argue Giannis is better. But again, Giannis has only been in the league since 2013, 2014. So to put him over KG right now and to put KG as low as 21, I definitely do not agree with that in any sort of way. To me, it's just looking at their career box stats or box score and not really looking at anything else, like how impactful Kevin Garnett was defensively, how good of a playmaker he was in his prime, stuff like that. The stuff that puts him over a player like Dirk. But, I definitely don't agree with that. But
Did you, quick tangent here, the MLB and the PA are meeting right now, or today, and Bleacher Nation just tweeted the MLB and PA meeting has lasted longer than 15 minutes, which is really funny.
It's probably, I don't know if anything happened, but at 22 is Charles Barkley. Maybe.
That's fine.
Probably.
That's fine.
I haven't really thought, oh my, I see a player who is extraordinarily high. Oh my.
All right, keep going here.
Yep, okay, 23, Karl Malone. I don't want to talk about Karl Malone.
No, I don't either. Let's keep going.
Yeah. 24.
Dude, just look at the career stats, though.
Oh, that's so nasty.
24, John Stockton.
Oh.
Yeah, well, let's just read their description, all right? There was nothing flashy about Stockton.
Yeah.
From his short seasons to his sound fundamentals, he missed a total of 22 games in 19 seasons, all with the Jazz, and set careers assists and steals record that seemed to be unbreakable. The Jazz arena sits at the intersection of Stockton and Malone, honoring the duo that's practically synopsis with the pick and roll.
That's it? Okay.
They don't have much for each player, but yeah, that's it.
Wow.
You're not a big John Stockton guy.
No, because, cool, he's the all-time leading assist leader. But you got to look into that. How many of those assists were really just dumping it off to Malone? Just a simple bounce pass. Just a simple throw it over your head. It's to the point where, yeah, he has the quantity, but it's the quality of it that makes it so if you really do an in-depth analysis, he's not as great of a playmaker. Especially when you look at, like, something I noticed while watching The Last Dance. That play where Jordan got the steal before he hit the shot, if Stockton was as true of a playmaker as people think he is, he would have noticed Jordan run up behind Malone, leave his guy wide open, and he would have dished it over there. But because he's so set on, I have to do this, I can't do anything else, he still threw it to Malone and turned it over. Like, he's cool. He's obviously still a great player regardless of how I feel about him. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. Great. But, again, like I've said before, when you look at the players that are below him, it gets very blasphemous. like 25. David Robinson, who in his peak was absolutely just ridiculous. Obviously, his peak didn't last long due to injuries, which you could argue, because it's kind of the opposite of Stockton, who played for forever. You could argue that brings him down, but to have a peak that ridiculous and to play as well as he did and win the rings he did and just play that well, you can't. I don't think you can put him. I don't think there's any world in which you can put Stockton over Robinson. I don't know. I just don't know.
All right, so this is where it starts getting a little like weird.
Old.
So we'll just start going through the notable ones. So 27, Isaiah Thomas. That's fine.
Yeah.
29, Chris Paul. That's fine. Chris Paul will probably be higher at the end of his career.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue he's higher right now. Like
Chris Paul's crazy.
You could argue he's better. He's higher than Isaiah Thomas. You could argue he's higher than Havlicek, even Stockton. But
I think what he's doing with the Suns is going to help his
resume and
rankings.
The way people think about him. Yeah,
because he's this. Remember, Devin Booker has been hurt for extended periods of time since he's been with the Suns. So keep that in mind. 30 D Wade. That's fine. That's fine.
I agree.
31 AI. That's fine.
Yeah.
AI will never have the longevity
I don't know if he's necessarily if you can put him over some. Again, it's just some of the guys that are below him, like Pippen. Like, I'm not the biggest Pippen fan, but in terms of, I don't know. I don't know. I definitely should have done more research.
I think the debate for how to rank players is whether you prioritize more longevity.
Absolutely,
longevity
or peak, offense or defense, playmaking or scoring.
Like,
it's everyone has their own opinion, which is why I'm not always the biggest fan of reading this. But like seeing something like this is cool. I kind of like reading this. But like when someone comes up like a top 10 on Twitter and it's terrible, I don't care because it's just some random guy.
Yeah, it's not like
opinion.
you're
Good
stupid.
for them for having that
exactly.
opinion.
It's not. You're not. In my mind, if you make a top list, unless it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like if you actually genuinely thought about it, it's in my mind, it's what you prioritize more.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Like AI's top 10 for some people.
Yes, I have seen that. I think YouTube.
I don't know. I'm wearing an AI jersey. AI is one of my favorite players of all time, but
absolutely.
he's not. There's no way.
No.
But his peak was.
Absolutely
was one of the most dominant peaks.
Yeah.
Like when that year they went to the finals. Like what he did in that playoff run is one of the greatest playoff runs. Even though he didn't win a chip, one of the greater playoff runs of the 2000s.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. 32 Pippen. That's fine.
Yeah.
You could argue higher, I would say.
Yeah, barely higher, but definitely higher. Like you could argue he's better. You can argue putting him over Iverson. You could argue putting him over Mike and I get Mike and.
See, I don't like putting him over Iverson because Pippen had a year without Michael Jordan and didn't do anything.
I do understand.
AI was basically by himself his entire time in Philly and took him to a final.
Again, it just depends on what people prioritize more.
33 Kawhi. That's fine. Once again, I don't like putting the new players. 36 Dominique Wilkins. 37 Steve Nash.
That's a little low.
You're not going to like this. 40 Patrick Ewing.
I mean, who's ahead of him? Ooh. I don't know if I put Kevin McHale over Ewing, but I mean, I don't know. Ewing has become very underrated because, especially with the media, a lot of people. Because it's hard to.
He also is in the shadow, Michael Jordan.
It's because he played in the worst era.
Yeah.
He played with Jordan. He had to go up against every year in the East, and then if he made the finals, he had to go up against Hakeem. He had to go up against Shaq, players who are obviously better than him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ewing, you put him 5 years. He gets drafted 5 years earlier than he did. He would be one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
We'll keep going. 37 Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash, but yeah, that's probably fine.
You could argue higher, but with the way I'm looking at this list, I'm not that surprised. But
41 Walt Frazier, 42 Gary Payton.
I would not put Gary Payton or Frazier over Kidd. Kidd is another player who's become very. It's just you look at his box set score and you're like, oh, that's not anything crazy. But when you look at what he was doing in his peak,
Again, what do you prioritize? Like peak or longevity?
Absolutely.
Exactly. 47 Ray Allen.
I love that picture of Bill Walton at 44.
47 Ray Allen. 50 Harden.
Yeah, I mean
he's got to be there. But 51 Reggie Miller. I'd almost put Miller above Harden, but we're not going to talk about. Actually, I don't know if I would. Harden's got MVPs.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that. Again, Reggie Miller is another player who has become. I don't like the word. I don't like using it, but He's semi overrated. I still believe he's truly a great player. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. Imagine if he took more threes. Imagine if he played in today's era. He'd be an absolutely ridiculous player. But I've seen some very interesting things said about him on Twitter, about him being better than certain players that really, in ways, does not make much sense. But with that, we'll move on.
I do think when I look at Harden's numbers, yeah, he's top 50. But like when you look at this description of it is so perfect. Harden might be the most polarizing player of his generation. His partnerships with several co-stars have produced unpleasant breakups and no championships. Exactly. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I say the only player you could really argue is more polarizing is like Westbrook.
Yeah, Harden is very polarizing. I think that's why we want to rank him lower naturally. But you look at like 25 points per game is really, really good.
Yeah,
for how long he's
been playing. Not to mention
like
how he's been, like how he's doing his last couple of seasons in Houston.
Yeah.
But
peak Harden was something else.
Yeah.
When he dropped, remember that?
He had like, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but like I can't remember the exact stats in my head. The month he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you remember when he crossed up?
Oh,
What's
he crossed
his face?
up. Was it Stanley Johnson? No, Rodney McGruder.
Yeah.
And he like just stared at him for a bit.
That was nasty.
That's one of my favorite clips of all
53 Clyde Drexel. That's fine. 55.
You want to get on to our next final subject, or you want to keep going?
We can keep going with this. This is actually pretty interesting.
Right.
Unless you want to go with it.
I'm definitely.
This is like where it gets weird. Like 62 Paul Pierce.
I mean, again, I should have done more research, but
67 Dennis Rodman. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't believe Westbrook made the top.
No, I agree. He should have.
68 Westbrook.
There are some players that I will get into that I believe should not have made it. Melo at 69, nice.
I'm surprised he's even that low, honestly, but
yeah, I mean, I kind of am, but I'm kind of not, because again, it's just a lot of people. What a lot of people don't understand, Melo, are the circumstances he had in New York. He did not have much help, especially come playoff time. When your second best player offensively. Obviously, like Tyson Chandler's a great defensive player, not in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he won Defensive Player of the Year, very good defender. Same with Iman Shumpert, great defender. Two great defenders, not good offensive players. When your second best offensive player outside of Linsanity is J.R. Smith,
I know
you're not winning much. Especially, I've said it multiple times, when he shoots 29% from the field in the second round in 2012. You're not winning games with that as your second option. And yeah, Melo has definitely been at his own downfall at times, but people do not understand that he truly did not have much help in New York.
No, that's why I love Melo. Melo's like AI. That is a perfect analogy in my mind. He had nothing, and look what he did.
Yeah, then that's what it is. They had nothing, but
it's
they
the same
had
thing with AI.
Like a couple good defensive pieces, like Eric Snow, like Eric Snow and Mutombo, Iman, and
exactly.
And
like that's the same thing with AI.
Tyson.
Like the fact that Melo even got to the playoffs. The same thing with AI. The fact that AI even got to a finals is so and won one game against probably one of the most dominant teams of all time in the Lakers is a major testament to how good those players are.
But just
Melo's so polarizing though. He's another one.
It is. He's been in his own downfall at times. I will agree. But if you sit there and watch what he had around him, especially come playoff time, and you tell me that he was supposed to win more, I can't take it seriously. You can't look at
Harden's 50, and Harden hasn't done anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, but even then, he's made the conference finals. Yeah, Melo also made the conference finals, but like Harden's Harden. But it's just
Harden.
when you look at in 2013 when we played the Indiana Pacers in the second round, and you had Melo who averaged I think like 30. And then next you have J.R. Smith at 14 points while shooting 29% from the field. Then you have Raymond Felton putting up 12 points on like 35% from the field. You're not winning any playoff games. You're lucky to be in the playoffs, and that's why. They hid Melo's bad defense by putting a league best, not like a league best, but like a top defense in the league because of guys like Iman Shumpert and Tyson Chandler. They hit his defense, but they didn't do enough to help him his offense.
I love Melo. That's why. Melo was like my favorite player growing up. Like my dad wasn't really a Knicks fan, but he told me he liked the Knicks, and so I just grew up around Melo. We'll keep going. 71 Anthony Davis. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean maybe you can argue he's that low, but I just because of peak and just because of defense, probably put him over.
Just
Melo.
don't understand how Dame at 75 made this list over Dwight Howard.
I don't understand
and Klay Thompson.
Dwight. Clay's one thing.
I don't know. I put Klay over Dame. I take Klay over Dame any day.
I don't know. It's just again, it depends on what you value. But Dwight not making it is an absolute joke. Dwight not making it is a joke. Kyrie, you could argue, but it's just I do not.
I don't think you can argue Kyrie. Yep.
Again,
I think Dwight Howard and Klay are the ones you argue.
But right now, Damian Lillard making the top 75 does not make any sense. I truly do not believe that there is any capacity in which right now Damian Lillard should be in the top 75 of all time list again. When you consider Dwight, who has definitely accomplished more in his career, but yeah.
All right, so that takes us right to 4:00. That is a very interesting episode of the Sports Report. Something very unique. Something we look to try a little more in the future. Just finding stuff online, debating it. Yeah. So that was a good episode, but. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you Wednesday with probably more NBA stuff, just stuff like that.
What's going on right now?
Yep. So we'll keep you in line. But thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed evening. See you then.
Have a blessed night.
Yep. Have a good one.
You're listening to WQKE LP 93.9 FM, Plattsburgh, New York.
Not since the Watts riot of 1965 has this city seemed so out of control. Los Angeles is still on edge.